Good evening, everyone. Kindly wait for 2 more minutes. We will start at 4:05. Sana ma'am, can we start?
Yeah, sure. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session on Train the Trainer. With the changing time, we at IAA India feels that we need more trainers for CIA qualification, which is gaining importance after the introduction of the challenge exam, which happened 3 years back in, I think, 2021. With that, we feel that yes, we should come up with more trainers to have understanding. And we started in 2020, we started with the concept of learning partners. So far, we are having 5 learning partners in India. Even while we interacted with them, I recently took over as the chair for the women's for the student development committee. So my first thing was to start the interacting with the learning partners and understanding how we can take it to the next level. The prime challenge which everybody raised is they are dependent on one trainer. That is why they cannot scale up. So we are aware the requirement for today's time for CIA and as well as for the IAP, which is the base qualification uh, program, which is which is basically conducted by IIA. So with this thought, we had requested Mr. Deepak Gupta to train, to organize, and to have this session. The idea of conducting and the process which we will be following post this session will be that all the trainers who are uh, attending today's session, they will be given one topic to make a short PPT and give us 5-7 minutes video so that we can shortlist and circulate it with our learning partners. They will be impaneled by IAS Student Development Committee for the future courses or the programs which the IAA India may run directly or along with any learning partner. We'll share the process. If you want to take an interest forward, we'll be happy to have you on board on IAA platform. So to start the session, Let me give a brief introduction of Mr. Deepak Gupta, who is today's trainer. Mr. Gupta is a practicing chartered accountant with more than 20 years of rich experience in the field of risk control assessments, business process reengineering, ERP implementation, and internal audits in SAP environment. He has been professionally associated with clients from various industry segments like automobile, engineering, renewable energy, chemicals, real estate, healthcare, media, etc. For the past 10 years, he is also associated with Concord Academics for developing and delivering CIA review courses. Welcome you, sir, for taking up this session. Let me not come in between you and the participants. How would you like to take up the queries? Do you want to take the queries towards the end or as and when you find it in the chat box?
See, I'm perfectly okay. Anybody can, intervene, and if they have something in mind, just raise your hand and we'll address that. And towards the end also, we'll reserve some time, definitely for the queries and questions. So it's okay either ways.
All right.
And
So I request all the participants to keep themselves on mute throughout the session unless they want to ask any query so that everybody will attend the session well. Over to you, Mr. Deepak, for the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Sana. Thank you so much for providing us, Concord Academics, the opportunity to interact with all the upcoming prospective trainers. There are no two opinions or thoughts on what you shared. Like, there's definitely a shortage of good, let alone good trainers at all. We don't find trainers. I've been associated with Concord, and what you said, I can really connect with your thought that most of the training providers are constrained by a very couple of trainers, so in that way it's impeding for them. They are not confident of launching training programs or batches and all. So right, I fully appreciate the thought. And coming down to today's webinar. Okay, so firstly, let me welcome all of you. Thanks for joining. We'll start the session today. The topic is like CIA exam training, a mentoring approach. Okay, initially I was a little skeptical on what the trainer would mean. Okay, all of you, I believe, are qualified CIAs. So what can I add value here? Okay, so till today, frankly, we have been conducting classes for CIA candidates. This is my first opportunity to interact with trainers or prospective trainers. So that way, this session was a little different for us. Still, I've tried to put together all our experience, whatever we have been doing. I'll share my knowledge, experience, and ignorance, whatever I have, I'll share today as far as the topic is concerned about CIA exam training. So one thing that struck me is approach to training. What should be the approach? Not only for CIA exam, for any exam, any training. Okay, we can have a coaching, we can have a strictly a trainer approach or a mentoring approach. Okay, so I just refreshed myself what we have been doing all these years, and it clicked me that yes, we have been quite successful in all our CIA training programs. We had students who are the who's who of the internal audit industry. They are the CAs of marquee companies. We have candidates who have failed, and then they, as good as they got some 96, 98%. So what is that we were doing? So I just introspected and discovered that it is a mentoring approach, which distinguishes us. I mean, so this is nothing great. Anybody can adopt this approach. So what it actually means is transfer of knowledge, that everybody, all trainers will do that. That is the prime job. But if we add little bit to it, just get a little deeper into engaging our trainees. that makes a big difference, a big difference. Okay. So one thing, mentoring approach, yes, transfer of knowledge, that though we all are aware of it. But whenever you're designing any content, whether it is designing a content, conducting a session, whatever you do, wherever you are interacting with the learners, just keep it in mind to have a little deeper engagement. Okay. So what is this learner engagement? Yes, this is what one of the blogs with growth engineering says. It says learner engagement process as 5 steps. It is, the learner is mentally present, is emotionally connected. Next, he becomes curious, becomes socially engaged, and continuous learning. Okay, high sounding words, but let us get a little deeper here. Okay. Mentally present, like a big challenge for anybody to be mentally present. In this day and age, all of us have distractions, primarily due to use of gadgets, and the span of attention is very less. And for the young generation, I mean, it's very difficult for us to appreciate, but yes, the span of attention is very less. So people are not able to focus much. So that is the first challenge. So you get some candidates to your program, you get some ears who are ready to listen to you. That is the first step. So learners are mindfully focused, but that small window that a trainer gets, a very small window, that has to be used very effectively. Instead of, you can go back to our school days when, there was a lecturing approach. A teacher used to come, used to lecture and used to go. That I'm sure everybody knows that doesn't work these days. In a small initial window, we have to get connected, okay, and stay connected with our audience. So believe me, if you can do that, anybody can do that. You'll become a great trainer, because training is less about imparting knowledge that is there. A person has to self learn and learn on his own. The primary value add of a trainer is to mentor the candidate, to keep the guy motivated, and definitely try and overcome whatever challenges he or she may face, the learners. So learners will learn on their own. It is only our job is to make it interesting for them. So that is I have just underlined the second step, which is, the first step is important. It is a entry. One has to at least listen to you. If somebody is ready to listen to you, if you can convert into an emotional connect. Okay, emotional connect doesn't mean trainer-trainee connect. It means the connect of the learner to the subject matter. Okay, whatever the learner is trying to learn. Okay, in our case, it is the CIE exam. So he or she should really feel emotionally connected. One is to the profession and another is to the exam. Okay. You may find many candidates, youngsters who have just like MCOM or CA, who are just thinking about what to do. They just come and join the course. Okay. So how much they are invested in the profession. People who are 10 years into the profession are invested into the profession. Okay, their challenge is, they don't find time, but they are motivated. But young candidates, very fresh out of college, out of their CA degree, maybe just exploring things. So they are not deeply invested in the profession as yet. So one has to understand how much a person is invested in the profession, and make it interesting. So if there is an emotional connect, half the battle is won. It's done. Rest all will just follow. Then if you are emotionally connected, and you become curious, naturally you become curious to the subject matter. That is where your content will come into play. You'll make a best of content, but if person is not mentally present, he is not emotionally connected, that content may not really work. It doesn't go into his head. So for the content to work, there is some background that needs to happen, that some chemistry that needs to happen. So as trainers, if we can, motivate people, sensitize them to the importance of the profession, to what all opportunities are available and how a person can contribute, and make him feel, good, that feel good factor about the profession. First thing is about the profession and about the exam. Definitely is very important. Once that feel good comes, definitely it will follow up with the curiosity. Then person will look into your content, and once he's into the content, everything, the wheel starts churning. Next thing is socially engaged. What it means is if you have 5 learners with you, okay, you engage with the learner, but learners amongst themselves should also engage with each other. If you have a group, let's say 5 people, 10 people, whatever. So try to do something by which they also get, interact with each other for the CIA exam. So they can be mutually solving their doubts. They can be sharing their insights, their knowledge. So that also helps. That makes the engagement deeper. So we are just talking about how to make the engagement deeper. So mentally present, emotionally connected, curiosity, socially engaged, continuous learning. Now this is something, well, it is like after the exam or something. It may not be very helpful for the exam, but definitely if you do that, we do that, even after person has cleared his exam or something, he has any problem in the profession or something, we are networked across industry, so we try and help them out. And if anybody has any problem, we are there, like, so that thing that is a different thing. That is like a long period engagement, but at least the first 4 parts for the training is very important. Okay, can I go ahead? Any questions or anything anybody would like to ask at this point of time? Yes, please. Hello. I see one hand raised. I don't know the name.
Hi, Narayanan here. Can I just speak?
Yes, Mr. Narayan. Yes, please.
Yeah. Just a quick doubt, since you're talking about as a training or mentoring a group, is there an ideal number in the sense, like, you generally keep hearing about this student teacher ratios and all that? I don't know if that makes context in this.
Not be the best to comment on that, but we have conducted classes with even 2 candidates. Very effective.
Sorry?
Numbers maybe is very important, but I can understand one thing. Very high numbers, it is very difficult to engage. But on the lesser side, I would believe even if a single candidate is interested, okay, that is fine. So, okay, maybe a larger group, more than 30. 30 is the upper limit for us. We generally don't conduct a batch beyond 30. Okay? And we have conducted batch for 2 people also.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So, a couple of points that I could gather from our past experience. What are the key points for an effective CIA exam training program? Okay, I'm just focusing on the CIA exam training, not any corporate training, nothing else. It's purely a exam certification exam training program. Okay. So, what we could understand was there are 4 key factors. Okay, one is setting right expectation, knowledge support, test support, motivation, and morale building. Okay. So point number A and D are, you can say, the soft part of it, the engagement part of it, and B and C are the hard part, the knowledge transfer part. Okay, so you have to set right expectations with the candidate, not oversell the idea, and not make it too boring also. Okay. Have the right type of content support, knowledge support, that is very important. And then test support, fundamental thing. To crack the exam, test, keep on testing them. Okay. And if the test results are good, I mean, there is no doubt that the person will pass. Okay. And then motivation and morale building, all said and done, there are many challenges. Okay. So people have various things, their motivation levels may go down, and we as trainers may have to step in and lift it up. Okay. So I'll take each point one by one. Setting right expectation. Okay. So if we have to set a right expectation, the candidate, we just presume, candidates come from diverse backgrounds. Some are pure newcomers, and some are very experienced candidates. At times, much experience in the faculty. This is the biggest challenge for trainer, and I have been overwhelmed by this. I have faced an audience where the people in the audience are much more. In fact, in a professional environment, I would go them to seek some advice or support, but because it is an exam training, I am here and trying to be their trainer. So well you have to handle that. So you may have participants who are senior to you in age and experience, have a fantastic insight into the profession and whatever we are doing, but for some reasons everybody is not CIS certified, and at a very late stage people think like, okay, let me complete this, and they join a program. Okay, so handling that is a little dicey. So CIA exam proposition, setting right expectations. Okay, so whenever a candidate, this is more to do with pre-training, like if you have a counselor or somebody, or if you are a solo trainer, then you have to do that job yourself. A person comes to your training program, he wants to register, so you have to explain it to him what the exam is and what is the value proposition, what is the benefit of this exam. Even this is a very important step. Your relationship with the candidate will start at this point of time. It may or may not start, but this is the first interaction probably that you will have with your learner. He will come to you, he wants to join a course, giving a good good counseling him at that point of time, giving him a correct advice is very important. So CIA exam proposition, there is a exam overview. Will come into detail in the coming slides. Give the person a good overview. Okay. Then judge from this work experience whether the candidate, give him a frank thing that he may need to work more or less, whatever is his relevant background. From our experience, we can tell you certain backgrounds are aligned to the course, certain are not so much aligned. Same thing for educational background of the candidates. And then we need to be very candid about the self-study requirements. Trainer cannot write the exam for the candidate. The candidate has to write it himself. He has to study it himself. Nobody can study for other. Okay? That is one point that has to go across, self-study. And definitely the trainer can help the candidate in the study approach to guide him in how to study. Okay. So a couple of pointers for your initial counseling. You can tell them about the career prospects, increase in salary, you can switch your job to another company and things like that. But that is only a very basic part of it. Good counseling would be, if you are a CIA or you are into IA, you can do some meaningful contribution to your organization. And on a different plane, well, may or may do that, but definitely I believe there is social relevance of internal audit, and the current internal image of the internal audit is not to that level. At least in India, I find there are various organizations, different maturity levels, but generally the image of IA is not consistent. So that can be one motivating factor. Yes, we need to, the way we are contributing to the organization, it is socially relevant. The image should also enhance. In a given circle, it is there, but to the stakeholders, wider stakeholders, or the prospective, particularly the mid-sized companies, who are growing. Evolved companies know the importance, but mid-sized companies or the growing companies, even a startup, it needs somebody may feel internal audit comes only, when you are like 500,000 crores. Before that, what will an internal auditor do? No. Even a startup needs an internal audit. Everybody faces risk. Everybody has control issues. Everybody has governance issues. And if these things are in place, the valuation grows up. And even a startup will get a good valuation. Okay, internal audit at the end of the day is costly. You need to, you may not have the budget, but within a small budget also, one can, explore these things. So these advocacies, networks, all this you can be shared with the candidate, and he can be given a very wider perspective about internal audit and the real importance of the CIA exam. Okay. So having done that, so okay, the next thing is actually coming to the exam. Okay, the profession, the motivation, all that is done there, but one has to take the exam, the CIE exam. So be very clear with the candidates that this is it. There are 3 papers. These are the MCQs that will come. 2.5 hours for paper 1, 2 hours for paper 2, 3 hours for paper 3. And by and large, 1 will be, as you all know, attribute standards, 2 will be all performance standards, and 3 is like a general knowledge. Okay. So these are the percentages. So make your candidates well aware of the contours of the exam. What is the basic framework of the topics and the weightage of each topic. Very important while designing the content also, and when counseling a candidate. This should be shared with the candidate. Part 2, similarly, this is all performance standards, all whether it is managing internal audit activity, planning, engagement, performing, or communicating results. So this is similarly part 3. Okay, I'll skip this. Okay. So the candidate has come, you have given him the right counsel, you've explained to him about the exam, what the exam is. Then you need to set right expectations. Just understand ki, what is the work background. Is the person a fresher? Has he been exposed to financial statement audits? Has he or she ever been involved in any internal audit or operational audit or ISO audit, whatever it may be? So, and at what level the person has experience. Okay. So for experienced guys, you don't need to do this. You just need to tell them, sir, you need to just put in hard work and it will happen. Be focused on the exam. Keep your experiences outside. This is academics. So come down to academics. Don't mix your experience and academics. We'll sail through. But for a young or a fresher, you need to understand whether the work see this exams presupposes, assumes some sort of exposure. We have had candidates who are engineers, HR consultant, HR managers or something. They wanted to do this. It's very challenging. I don't say they cannot do, but then you have to be very candid with them that they would require some deep dive here, some foundational knowledge about, at least about what are the accounting processes, accounting cycles, at least some accounting sense you need. Though accounting is not tested here, but at least you need to have some sense about the way things go. And many times you have candidates who have been exposed in a very small form, so you need to enlarge their vision. So while you interact with them initially, set the right expectations. Okay. If the work experience is not aligned with what the CIE exam expects, then you may have to do the gap filling. Same thing for the education background. CAs and cost accountants form bulk of our candidates. Their background is aligned to this, but definitely we have had engineers and MBAs. They can also do good, but some gap filling may need to be done. The idea is, you tell this to your candidate initially. Self-study requirements, yes, 2 hours per day. That is what we always tell our candidates, put in that much. And then depending on your background and how you study and all, it may take, some candidates just pass in a week. I have a candidate who just studied for a week, everything's done. But some people have to study hard. At least keep it 2 months, for 2 to 3 months for one paper. Study leave, big challenge. People don't get study leave, and at times, people become very, should I say, overconfident is not the word, but a little audacious, in the sense they just work till the previous night and try to go and appear for the exam the next day. It's not a good idea. How much ever experienced you are, whatever you may be, whatever your study background, whatever your preparation may be, you need study leave. So tell them in advance that you will have to take study leave. You will have to tell your employer that you need study leave. 5 days, 3 days, something. 5 and 7 are ideal. At least 3 days. You have to go through the whole syllabus, go through all your questions you have marked as important. So So last minute preparation is important. So all this sets the tone, and then the effective study approach. This is something that can happen on the go, but initially, yes, you can tell them that see, some candidates, are very what should I say, uh, rote oriented. They just by heart things. Okay, so you'll have to judge from interaction. Okay, how is this person? Is he like a person who likes to learn the concept or just by heart things? Okay, so particularly for fresh people. So concept learning is very, very important. No questions are going to get repeated. One very, very common thing that I listen from candidates who were unfortunate not to clear. They say ki, the questions we did, the questions that came in the exam are totally different. I was lost and all that. And what we did in the class, I couldn't relate it to it at all. That is basically, it means no questions are going to get at verbatim repeated anywhere. So focus on the learning content. It's not a very vast portion. Okay, there are what in paper one, how many standards? If you just count it, there may be hardly 20 standards, and some, it's not very vast. Easily somebody can just focus on the concept and crack it. Prepare notes. Tell your candidates that you need to prepare some notes. That will help. If you don't do it, the effort will be much. You'll have to do more effort. This is easier thing to do. So sometimes people, don't want to put that effort. Writing is, requires effort. Just going through some videos, audios, that is good. That is just a warm up. The video audios are warm up. One has to take a paper pen and write something. To instill that thought in their mind, you have to write something. Use paper pen. Okay, don't do that, it will be difficult. Solve MCQs in study mode. So the best way to learn, you have to tell them whenever you're solving MCQs, solve it in study mode. Be very open. Learn from your mistakes and stuff like that. Maintain a masala book. That is something, there is no other word for that, the masala book. So what is a masala book? There is a candidate maintains a long book or some 200 pages, 100 pages, and he keeps writing there. Okay, it takes a topic, chapter number 1, then wherever he was stuck, wherever, that bulb glows in his mind, oh, this was it, this was it, I made this mistake, or this is important, here is what I got confused. So he can write the concept, or he can write the question number if he is using any, like we use GLIME question bank. So you can write the GLIME question number. This question number was tricky for me, I couldn't understand it, and now so I just want, it's a repository of your micro learnings that happen over a period of time. So learning doesn't happen in one instance. You attend a lecture and you become a master, it hardly happens. So you attend a lecture, you go through the book, you solve problems, and slowly see, this audit, I'm sure, is a quite an abstract topic. It is not accountancy or financial management or cost accounting, where there are numbers, there are pluses, minuses, calculations, it's very easy to relate, and it's a quick start. Okay, here it is abstractions. So what to just get a deep meaning of one word, it sometimes you keep doing it, then you understand, oh, this is it. So this is the masala book. Very, very effective. All the micro learnings get captured there. So as trainers, we need to whatever you give, the other guy also has to put in effort. Training is not a one-way thing that you just teach and other guy will just in a flash just do the best. That will not happen. So it's a collaboration. So you need to tell what is expected of the candidate. So once you have a candidate motivated, he's ready to put in whatever needs to be done, then you just need to give him the knowledge support, the support that he or she may need for effective transfer of knowledge. Okay, so here it is. Here is the key role. Okay, knowledge support. See, if you go to the website, there are so many standards, so many things, so many practice guides. If you go to any GLIME or anything, so everything is available. So one has to, you will have to guide your candidates to maintain a balance. you cannot just keep diving deep into everything. So at end of the day, it is an exam and you have to crack the exam. Okay, you don't have to do any research work here. So you have to crack the exam. So whatever is expected from a candidate in an exam, you have to prepare to that level and not too much. Don't go for overkill. So there are certain foundational knowledge elements. One is these accounting cycles, which Gleim gives, and this is something, you know, particularly for engineers, MBAs, very important. They have to be, you know, thorough with this, with the accounting cycles. One more thing, for the smart, professionals who have, you know, the stars in their organization, they will always argue that, accounting cycles are all outdated, you know, doesn't make sense, you know. They'll try and not try and find, definitely the accounting cycles are not like gold standards or something, you know. These are just for your exam. If certain thing is given in this fashion, it will be tested in that fashion. We have to restrict our view and our perspective in that manner only. In your own professional life, you may have brilliant ideas which may have gone beyond whatever is written here. Some of it may be redundant, some of it may be contradictory. But still, for exam thing, whatever is written here, we have to take it as it is, and we are expected to deliver as it is in the exam. Keep our other insights and our other knowledge for the exam purpose, we'll have to keep it aside. This I'm telling when you are dealing with the experienced professionals. So accounting cycles and embedded controls, just restrict yourself to whatever is given in the book. Okay. This is the interesting part. International Professional Practice Framework, mandatory guidance. This is all the tested things, thoroughly tested. Mandatory guidance, implementation guide to improve, enhance the candidate's understanding. If you're not clear, one can go to the implementation guide and understand it better. Supplemental guides required for certain topics which are not well covered. Then study material, the Masala book plus the trainer provided content, and how to conduct a live class. Let me just go one by one. So accounting cycles and embedded control. So I can probably show you. So these cycles are available in the Gleim book. I don't know about other service providers, but if you can get hold of this, it's very, very important. So there will be questions, the practical questions on controls are within the framework of this accounting cycles, the purchase to pay, order to cash, payroll, capex, and all. So as a foundational knowledge, this is a must to have. Then we have this mandatory guidance, which is covered in all the learning providers content, whether it is Gleim, Wiley, anybody. But if somebody wants to independently develop a content, or somebody wants to independently study, doesn't want to go through Gleim or Wiley or IIA material. So in the exam, they are testing this thing only, end of the day. So one good website to go is this. I will show you. Here it is. Yes, Sana, is this can you see this thing on the screen? Hello?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So many of you must have visited this page a number of times, but now you have to visit this page from a trainer's perspective. Only the perspective will change. So how all these things are tested in the exam. Okay. So mission of audit. Okay. No direct testing will happen, but this mission, helps you to motivate candidates. The internal audit has a very wide importance. That is what it will help. But what is tested here would be all this core principles, definition of auditing, okay, code of ethics. Often tested questions are like, is code of ethics applicable to non-IIA members? And also we need to tell them code of ethics is for the members of IIA. And definition of internal audit core principles. Here the institute is trying to set standards for everyone, whether they are our members, not our members. So they are trying to get, set this thing for professionals from other institutes also. So I mean, end of the day, IIA has been the gold standard and the globally accepted institute for internal auditing. So this is directed to the whole profession at large. Okay, definition of whether somebody is member or not member. This is directed to whole profession, but not binding or anybody. So, but as a academic construct, it is there. To accept, not to accept is definitely for they cannot be bound to do that. But code of ethics, yes, there is some enforcement here. And for a professional practice, international standards, the only enforcement is if you are a member and you are a member of IIA and you're signing off an internal audit report, you need to ensure that this is there. So it is binding on the members. And for non-members, if they want to write that in their audit report that the audit was conducted, the engagement was conducted as per IPPF, then they have to follow it. But this page is very important to get, if you want to develop your content, your 60 to 70% of your content you can develop from here. Okay, so this is it. This page you need to visit. There is a mission. These 4 are the core principles, definition, code of conduct, ethics, and standards. So covers at least 60%, 70% of the syllabus gets covered. There is something like a standard summary chart, just for your. See, this is what we give to our candidates. This is nothing. This is a very simple thing. The whole thing is just put into one table. That's all. So see, it's spread all over. You have assurance standards, you have consulting standards, you have attributes. So there are codes of each standard. Number is there. What does this relate to? There is a heading and there is a number. 1000 relates to what? Purpose, authority, responsibility. Does it have assurance standard? Yes, it has 1000.1 A1. Consulting, yes, it has one standard. So this is a bird's eye view of everything. This is a bird's eye view of all the standards. Okay. If you want, I can share it with the group, or you can develop it on your own. But candidates find it very, very helpful. In one shot, they get a bird's eye view of everything. These are the, so this first page is paper 1. So these 4 standards, attribute standards, and then you go to performance standards. This is your paper 2. Okay. Paper 3 is anyway a general knowledge paper. Okay. Okay. So this was about the standards. Can I continue? Anybody has any question? Do you want? Should we address it now? Okay. Okay. So I'll continue the next thing. Okay, so this is the mandatory guidance.
I have a question.
Yes,
from
please.
this side. So
Yeah.
the only thing is that I is going for this fast track course also. So shall we go for that fast track course, or should we go for the normal course only?
So normal course is 3 papers. Sana, just correct me if I'm wrong. The fast track one, you mean only clearing the paper 1 and then you get some badge. Is that the fast track course?
So fast track is the course where you can do it in one shot. The fees is 75,000, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come to, you mean to say the exam strategy, whether to give 3 papers in one go or you should give one by one. Okay, I'll come to that. That's very, very, what should I say, related to the person who is giving the exam. So the answer will be different for different people. Okay, if you have the time, well, you can go give all the 3 exams. You have, see, leave is an issue. If you don't get leaves, you get only one day leave. So it's better to give in steps. And I was not sure about the fee element. This is something new.
Actually,
what is the difference in fees?
Time is also, every 6 months you have to, give 3 exams. So it will be for 1.5 years, the full course. But for fast track, it would be only 3 months or maybe 4 months. You can clear it depending on your study. And that the fees would be 70,000-80,000, I guess, without the study material. Without the coaching and all. The institute fee would be 70,000. If Somebody
See,
of the forum can know it
yeah,
better.
Deepak,
my
if I can just, Deepak, if
yes,
you can add, I
yes.
think what Praful, I think maybe referring to Praful, you can also correct me. I think you're referring to the challenge exam, right? Where you take all three parts in one go.
Yeah, challenge exam. That's called
I think
as
it's called the
challenge
challenge. I think it's
That's
referring
called
to
a challenge
exam,
exam.
not necessarily the
So, see, for
parts.
experienced professionals, go for the challenge exam. This content is not very vast. Why waste? Why have a go to the exam center, write 3 times? One shot you can clear.
Okay.
But people who need to, get into it slowly, youngsters, then it is better, one by one. Anybody who is into the profession for more than 5 years, they can go for the challenge exam. More than the years, it is your insight into your subject, frankly. You may spend 10 years and not understand anything, but you may spend 5 years. And more importantly, what was the type of exposure? If you have been interacting with the CAE, or you're yourself a CAE of a good company, go. So people in the CAE position or next to CAE position should go for the challenge exam. There's no two opinions on that.
Okay.
And others, if they are academically strong, scholarly, they feel they can crack. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
can we continue, Prafulji?
Please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So good. This was a good thing to know. So this is a standard summary that we just shared, and then we go to the implementation guide. I believe this is a gold mine. I mean, this is everything is available here from the exam perspective. If I were to see, if you are a member and a certified person, you can get it downloaded from the website. If you are not, then get it from somewhere. Some member can help you out. See, this is something here. I can show it to you. Here is the implementation guide. Here you can see on the web, or if see, there are 204 pages. Okay, very good from exam perspective. See, one is you straight away buy a GLIME or a IIA material and study. They have also prepared from here only. 60-70% of their content is picked up from here. Okay. If you want to go to the source, sometimes what happens, candidates buy a GLIME or a Wiley material, still they want to, go beyond that. Understand. Some people think only studying one book or two book, it's too much restricting for them. They want to explore what is the source, where is all this written, how do I explore it further. For such inquisitiveness, well, yeah, you can download this 204 pages. And what happens, in a GLIME or a Wiley type of a thing, that it is all chapter wise. Here it is not chapter wise. Here it is your concept wise. So it's always better to go through this implementation guide first, and then go to your study material, whichever GLIME or Wiley you are using. Okay. So encourage students to go through this. So very good. The all thing that you need for the exam is here. So the mandatory part which is tested in the exam is something like this: code of principles, integrity. This is like mandatory. So a person should read this and just imbibe this in it. Not by heart exactly, but this part, this part is something that person not necessarily by heart, but each and every word is important here. So what is integrity? What are the rules? All that. Then this part is just a commentary on that. So, but it is worth, it is an implementation guide. So one should go through this. You can underline, make your masala book, make some notes. So I encourage your candidates, learners to make their self notes. Okay. So if somebody can go through this 204 pages, make short notes or just underline things here, it will help him or her, immensely. Then they can go to the study material and start solving the MCQs. So before MCQs, it's actually two-way. And you do the MCQs, you learn certain things. Before doing the MCQs also, you should have some learning. So it's spiral. You learn, then you go to the MCQ, you make mistakes. From your mistakes you learn, you again come back here. So that back and forth will keep happening. So this is a very, very, very useful, what should I say, a download. So this guide is their implementation guide. It covers all the standards and the code of ethics. Okay, so till the end, one has to study this. 50% of your preparation is here. Okay, so this is the implementation guide, maximum importance. Make summary notes out of this. And when you're developing a content, you can go here. And many times I've observed, if you make a mistake in the MCQ, you can come back and relate it here. Somewhere something is written in this implementation guide. There is supplemental guide, which is anyway only a recommended standard. Even implementation guide is recommended, but supplemental is much should I say technical. It is meant for the practicing professionals, not really for the exam candidates. But yes, there are certain tricky topics, IA and risk management, internal audit of risk management processes. See, many companies don't have risk management process. So audit of risk management process, practically, it's very difficult for people who have gone through this. So many companies don't have a formal risk management process, a laid down process again to do that. So this becomes a little abstract, a little theoretical, but the particular guide, the supplemental guide is very, very good. It's meant for your professional practice, but even for students, it is good, worth a reading. I can show you here. It is. Where is this? This one. So use this, at least the executive summary. One good idea, if you want to make rich content, if you really want to make a very rich content, so identify these supplemental guides. Just go through to the executive summaries. This will be a 1-pager or half-pager summary, but from exam point of view, this will be very good. In a gist, everything is written here. And to understand more, if you want some elaboration, you can read everything. Many times, just a 1-page reading of a guide is good. But for 3 topics, I would recommend, for internal audit and risk management, internal audit and fraud, and assessment of governance. These are tested topics. A lot of questions come here, but many times due to lack of adequate exposure, practical exposure, it becomes very theoretical, very, very abstract for us. We can't relate. So you can use these guides. Okay, so this was about risk management, pages 11 to 20, internal audit and governance assessment, very, very hotly tested topic, and something very abstract. Particularly for young candidates, it's very difficult to explain them. So here also, if you see governance assessments and all, so there's a good executive summary. What is governance? What is the length and breadth? What is the meaning of the word governance? And how do you assess? It is very difficult to assess governance in an organization. So this can be helpful. And the third one is your, I have an old copy of this. You can, find a latest one. There has been a revision here on this, but internal auditing and fraud. Without fail, there will be questions here. Without fail. And this is something interesting. Everybody relates, fraud and internal auditor, his job is to prevent frauds, detect and all that. So everybody wants to know the connect between fraud and internal audit. That is not only from professional point of view, but a general interest. There is much more inquisitiveness here. So I would suggest, ask your candidates to go through whole of this. Whatever 42 pages are here, it's a very interesting reading. Conceptual clarity will come, you'll get the concepts clear thoroughly. Cracking the exam questions will be very easy. And this is fun. This is fun too. I mean, this is really even for fun reading, one can go through this. It's really good. So these are the supplemental guides that I would suggest, if for your content, you can support here. Then test prep materials, you will have to make a choice. You will have to choose because all said and done, you need to have at least one test prep material which you will use in your study course. Because without test prep, people they have designed their content and they have a question bank. We may develop the content, but we don't have question bank. And without question bank, it is very, very difficult. So our content development is just, add on, is just a sort of a background, sort of a teaser to, get people involved, or a gap filler. If you're using a content and you feel, oh no, there is some gap here. Like for instance, we had this chart, this thing is a gap filler. If Gleim had given this, I would not have prepared it. No, it's not available and I feel it is important. So we have prepared this. So you can use your content as a gap filler. There will be test prep material available. So your gap filler notes, the test prep review course notes, and self-prepared masala book. These are the study material for the candidate. And everything is equally important. Then see, your knowledge transfers will happen in a live class, right? And how to conduct that class is very, very important. So one thing without fail is have a PPT, a PowerPoint presentation. So a point-wise PowerPoint presentation or something. See, I can show you the way we have done it. I go here. Sorry. So we prepare this PowerPoint. Okay. We run this PowerPoint, but run in the sense not just read it out. This is just like a framework, and we build on this in the idea of this PowerPoint is to help everyone focus here. If there is no PowerPoint, everything is in the air. So there is a PowerPoint, people can focus, and then you can manage your time. In the end of the day, you will have only 1 hour or 1.5 hours. So this PowerPoint helps in time management. So once this is done, end of the PowerPoint, what we do is, we have these questions. Okay. This is, we may have at the end, depends on you. After some slides also, you can insert these questions. So run these questions in your classroom. So so take it from a very basic question to a little difficult one. Don't put difficult questions here. At the same time, don't totally exclude a difficult question. Idea is people, if they can't solve any of the question, they become disheartened. They feel that it's gone. They can't cope up. And if they solve all the questions, they become overconfident. They feel it's too easy. So have a mix of difficult and one difficult question, one or easy, one or two more medium. So this is how we do. Include this in your regular. So even if you are using any test prep material, do prepare your own PowerPoint and conduct your classes on your own PowerPoint material. Hello. Yeah. Hello. I think I've lost.
We can hear you. No problem.
My laptop has, something happened here. Just give me a minute.
Sure.
Okay. Now I'm back. Okay, sorry for the glitch. Okay, so you have a PowerPoint presentation. Do few MCQs during the class itself, and you need to keep budget some time, fair amount of time for the MCQs. This is one way of engaging with your candidates, your audience. And you can use some learning platform. WizIQ is what we have used. There are many learning management platforms available, or you can use a Google Meet or a Teams, whatever is convenient to you. But ensure that you conduct a MCQ and you get a feedback of the answers. Okay, in a learning management tool, that all this broadcasting a question and getting the responses and a summary of the responses, how many people answered A, how many people B, all that is available. So if you don't have at the moment, you can just ask them to answer in the chat box. Okay, but try and get their answers. You see, in a live class, it is very easy. It's I mean, you are there physically present, so you can elicit all the responses. You can nudge them to give a response. But in a webinar, you can't nudge beyond a point. So just ensure that you get the responses. You discuss all the responses. There's been a standard practice in Gleim that whenever we conduct an MCQ or in the live class, we don't disclose the answer very soon. If we find two people, one has answered A, one has answered B. Okay, yeah, 10 people have answered A, 5 people have answered C. We try and get them into a conversation. So you can say people who have answered A, why do they feel A is correct? There are certain others who have answered B, why do they feel B is correct? Let there be a live conversation. Okay, lot of learning comes out of it, and believe me, we have there have been cases where we know the correct answer, but the people who have answered otherwise have been so convincing. At times I have also felt, oh, the answer is wrong in Gleim, I believe. But still, I mean, those are far and few between. But just to make a point that it becomes very lively at times, So encourage them to, defend their point. So everybody has to defend their stand, right? So that makes it really interesting. And lot of learning comes out of it. And the class also enjoys that. So that is a must. That is a must. So whatever questions you pick up, also see to it that a couple of questions are a little controversial. It should not be there are people who know will answer it, people who don't know will answer it wrong. No, people who know also may not answer it correctly. There may be a different view, and all that things comes up. It's fun that way. And then after the live class, do encourage your candidate students to email their doubts, and don't be a little prompt in responding to the emails. You can every Saturday, you can one day in a week, you can budget some time to doubt. Don't create an expectation that like a 10th standard or a 12th standard coaching class where if you ask a doubt to the sir on a WhatsApp and he will reply. Don't go into all that. Okay, if there are doubts, let them wait. It's okay. So otherwise, we are not full-time teachers. We are in our professions. We have to carve out time and do this. Okay, so don't just get into that habit. Once a week, if you respond to all the things, it's okay. Or but don't neglect it totally. That is the only idea. This is very good. Invite successful students to attend a class and share their experience. So if you have candidates who have cleared, maybe who have not been through your training, but from outside your training also, if you can find candidates who have been successful, ask them to attend a class if you can do that. And if they come, it's a great thing for the students, to listen to a successful candidate. You will be really surprised. They give more attention to the candidates who have passed rather than to the faculty. Okay, they feel faculty, whatever is teaching is one thing, but the candidate here is a candidate who has recently passed. Very, very exciting for them. So in between, one is definitely we as trainers I have like cleared my exam in 2004, so almost 20 years. I don't repeatedly give exams, right? I have written an exam and now I'm just studying. I'm continuing with this. But exam, what is happening in the exam? Only these people are, the best. They know the best. Okay. Any questions? Can we continue? Hello? Yeah. Okay. So what we have covered is setting right expectations, supporting your candidates with the knowledge and content, conducting classes and all, And then for a successful training, the most important part is the test support. This is something the candidate cannot get. You know, it is not some you can learn on your own, but testing yourself is a boring thing. No, you want somebody else to test you. How can you test yourself? That is not a done thing. So biggest value add of a trainer is to keep testing. So the value that comes from constant testing, it really helps in cracking the exam. So there are some MCQ answering techniques. Most of the people are aware. People have written any MCQ exam, whether it is CPAs or any other MCQ type exam. So they are aware of it. Some candidates are not. And the senior guys who have written their chartered accountancy 20-25 years back, okay, they have not given any other exam in between. They sound very confident, but they are very nervous, believe me. So this is something, a very simple thing, but you may have to tell them in a very, very discreet and a tactful manner. There are some techniques here which we have. See, Gleim has a big list, but I have just picked up 3 or 4. This is a time budgeting, or you need to budget your time. These are all common sense things. People may think, this is all lecturing, but still, it is important. It is so see, if you repeat it, it's okay. The cost of repetition is not much. But if the candidate misses this thing, it will cost him a couple of wrong answers in the exam, and that may be the difference between passing and failing. Okay? So it's okay, even at the cost of repetition, keep telling them about MCQ techniques, that you have to budget your time, don't get involved in one question too much. End of the day, you have 120 minutes, 100 questions, 20 minutes for revision, 100 questions, 100 minutes, 1 minute you have a budget. So you should stick to your budget. Read the question carefully. N number of times I have repeated this. Okay. If you're not able to solve a question, if you get a question wrong in the exam and you were not thorough with that topic, so it's okay. You didn't knew the topic, so you couldn't answer it. But it's really unfortunate that you knew the topic, you were thorough about it, you didn't read the question carefully, and you lost a mark. That is not excused. So whenever candidates are studying at their home, taking a test on anything, keep telling them that you should not lose marks on easy questions. And if you find any candidate is losing marks on a question that otherwise is very easy, not that difficult for him or her, you need to tell them in as many words. Intelligent guessworks. Yes, people who have experience of writing MCQ exams know this, but that intelligent guesswork, you have to eliminate. If you have 4 options, there is no negative marking. You can eliminate one choice, 2 choice. Then there is an option between 2. Go with whatever you feel. That you have shortlisted your options, and go with your intuition or whatever you feel. So, okay. If you don't know, then you resort to intelligent guesswork. That will also help you. Not answering a question is not an option. Okay. So as a trainer, you need to have a good question bank. If you have to train candidates and see them through their exam, you want to see your candidates passing the exam. It cannot happen without a good question bank. Candidates have to subscribe to something, either a IIA. These 3 are available. There may be others, but Gleim, Wiley, and IIA are good. So you ask your candidates to buy one. You may also have to use one of these question banks, and you'll have. And after, see, Gleim has maximum question. Not that because I am using Gleim. Gleim has maximum number of questions. So get a good question bank. Go through each and every question. If you are using a topic, one chapter, one topic. If you want to prepare a content or you want to deliver a lecture, go through each and every question of the question bank. Categorize the questions. There are 100 questions in this topic. So this one is easy. You make an Excel sheet. Just write the question number. Categorize it. whatever category. You may develop some categories: easy, tricky, conceptual, application oriented, whatever you want to do. So you categorize that, and after you have categorized, that is very important. You have to do it initially. Then it's easy for you to insert it in your training content, insert it in your exam, in your whatever test you are going to conduct. So having a good question bank. Next thing you do is you just categorize each of the questions. Each of the question, make an Excel sheet and write down number, question number 1, whatever is the question number there, chapter number, question number 1 to 100, categorize that. And put some remarks or flags, whatever you want to. So before getting into any training, I'll tell you, for preparing for exam is one thing, but preparing to train candidates, it requires more effort. I have studied more from the question bank after my exam. Exam I didn't study so much. After the exam, just to train candidates, I have to go through each and every question. So this is it. Categorize the question bank. Next thing is, conduct multiple tests. Not that we have been able to do this. It is a work in progress for us. Okay. Simple reason, not too many good trainers available. Okay. But yes, this is where a training provider should aim at. You should have daily practice tests, simple questions for engagement. For engagement, you can use your social media, WhatsApp group, Facebook group. I don't know what, I don't use Facebook, but you can you can skillfully use this platforms. Shoot some daily some 5 questions, 2 questions, even 1 question. It's okay. If something comes on my mobile, or a sir has sent this, let me answer. So that it's more to engage, keep the candidate engaged. Otherwise he's in the office firefighting with all the office things, and goes out of the world. Just to keep him alive, keep the preparation alive, you need to ping him again, ping him in between, some questions, teasers. So daily practice test. This can be simple questions. We don't want to bother him with any complexity. Person is traveling, is in a metro or doing something. If they feel delighted, they feel delighted. Yeah, sir has sent something. Okay, let me check. And if they can answer that, very happy. They feel they are in the game. They are in the game. They are in the game. Okay. So you need to. So sometimes people cannot devote time to study, but you have to bring them back into the game. So this is about your daily practice test. Then you have topic wise test. This you will have to schedule. We do conduct mock test. Okay. But then mock test is the last thing to conduct. You can have a group of topics combined, and you can have a topic wise test, a half paper test, and a test. So it all depends how deep you want to. See, the base of all this is your question bank and your category. Once that is done, then you just pick and choose, and form some small testlets. Some questions go into DPT, some questions go into topic wise test. You can have 2-3 sets. This batch you have used this, next batch you will do that. So all that thing is possible. First thing is you have to really get a question bank and dissect it thoroughly. Okay, any questions till now? Hello. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. Happened here. Okay. Yeah, I'm back. So DPT motivation and morale. Okay. So we have some 15 minutes left. I think I'll quickly go through this. So this we've been saying this over and over again throughout this. Motivation and morale building is important. So time bound plan. So here is what the exam strategy, whether you want to give it in 3 months, you want to give it in 6 months. So some plan has to be there. So help your candidates to do their planning. So there is no straight jacket, one jacket fits all sort of a thing. So depending on the background of the candidate, help him or her to have a time bound plan. So if there is no time commitment, it will never happen. So you have to tell them that you have to make a plan, fix up on an exam date, and stick to it. Okay, so that is very, otherwise there is procrastination. This time, next time, sir leave nahi mila, ye nahi hua, wo nahi hua, ghar mein shaadi hai, ye hai, wo, it's never ending. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. One candidate didn't write an exam in our coaching class because his daughter was in 10th class. So he was really worried. I don't want to fail when my daughter is writing a 10th exam. So I mean, understandable, but there can be n number of reasons for delaying stuff. But there has to be a plan. Then continuous monitoring. So let the time be realistic, aligned with other time commitments, and exam strategy, just what we discussed, whether to give everything in one go or you want to stagger it. Monitoring the time bound. So see how is time bound helps you in keeping your motivation alive. If there is no time limit, there is no motivation. Simple. Continuous monitoring. Monitoring will happen from the test that you conduct. You will get the results. Interaction in the class, how a candidate is interacting, and the candidate may himself or herself come and share some problems. Sir, I cannot understand this difficult. Blah, blah. So then the feedback, and you'll have to. That is important for morale building. If you don't monitor, you don't know what is the state of mind of that candidate. If to understand the challenges, time commitments, or someone is faltering in the approach or not using the right material, conceptual clarity is not there. So all that we'll have to understand and give honest feedbacks. Okay. Fear of failure, I would like to say, is a very, very impeding thing. So particularly senior, as you grow older, you are 15, 20 years into the profession. This is the biggest roadblock, mental block, biggest block, fear of failure. A 25-year candidate doesn't have this, but a 35, 40-year-old candidate will have lots of fear of failure. And person who is in a certain position in his organization, for him it will be very, many candidates, they just don't study because they fear to fail. Okay, so you have to tell them, sir, with folded hands, sir, this is an exam. This only speaks about how you have prepared for the exam. This doesn't speak about you as a person, about you as a professional, about your competencies and talents. This is not a test of your talent. This is only a test of a simple exam. It's a mundane exam which will help you. That's all. Believe me, even these kind words, will help them come out of their fear. Senior candidates, bring them out of this fear, they'll sail through. But if this fear is there, it is there. It is 100% there. So you have to take care of bringing them out of this fear. Rest all is okay. Learning from mistakes is very important. Okay, that was it. I think I am on time. We have 10 minutes left. Okay. Yes, Anna.
Yes, sir. I have a question. How to improve the pass percentage?
Past percentage. Okay, you keep doing the same thing, you keep getting the same results. So if a person is not able to improve or he has failed, is a repeat candidate. So what he or she had done in the earlier diagnosis of that is very important. Many candidates fail because they are not able to relate, visualize the abstract concepts here. They are not able to do that. So they just go, they solve problems. Okay, solve problems. They get a hang of the problems. At home, they are able to crack it. Oh, they feel, then they go to the exam, they don't get the marks. Many times they come back and say, sir, questions to naya hi tha. It was totally new, out of what I have said. It's not like that. Questions will not get repeated, but one has to, be grounded in the concepts. So what I say is, if you have not been lucky, maybe you have gone through one of the study courses Now pick up the standards, pick up this implementation guide, make some notes, and then solve the questions with this fresh insight. Same question that you had solved in the last time, again you are solving it, but solve it with a new perspective. Definitely it will make a difference. Writing notes definitely helps.
What
Yes,
if it is for the first time?
come again. First time in the sense you said somebody has not got marks and is wants to improve.
No,
First
no.
time.
If, say, for example, if it is the first attempt of a candidate, how to ensure that they will go through this exam? They'll succeed in that.
So that was it. If you have done the standards and the implementation guides thoroughly, you've prepared your own notes. If a candidate has prepared and interaction, you can keep testing and gauging is understood the concept. You need not test him on all the concepts, but during the interaction in the classroom, you can try and just assess whether the conceptual clarity is there or not. And having done that, if somebody is able to crack 90% in the GLIME questions, okay, or GLIME or Wiley or anything. So if we are able to get 90% questions right, you are now fit to go and write the exam. And then it is, see, there are certain candidates who are good, who understand everything, but they can't, while approaching the exam, the last day of the exam, when they go and write, there are some flaws there. Either they are nervous or, that exam writing strategy, how to take the exam. Don't get nervous. Don't have emotional baggage. You have at least, you have a bandwidth of getting 20% of your questions wrong. So be confident. You can, if you are within 20% error, there is a margin of error available. Okay. So approaching the exam is very important. So I think yes, and then end of the day, some amount of luck is there. There cannot be any guarantee here. Right? But most of the candidates will go through. Most of them. Yes. Hello. I see
hello.
a raised hand. Yes.
Yeah, Mahesh.
Yes, Mahesh, please.
Yeah, I like to add some points in this particular.
Yes.
I'm Mahesh Krishna, Chartered Accountant, as well as I passed the CAA. See, normally at the time of exam, after your result has come, any candidates who fail, they will give exactly narration of what areas, which areas they are not so strong. So that is a feedback which the student can use again to concentrate more on those areas and practice more on that area. And which area is very strong, you can take one more practice lesser than what the areas in which areas is so weak. That will give you a good feedback and good ground for preparing for the next attempt. That will be a solid background. That is a feedback from the institute itself. Is solid in which areas is strong, each area is not strong.
Yeah. That feedback is available. Once you clear the exam, it comes. Or clear or don't clear. I mean, you don't clear, then it comes.
Then more number of practice in the questions, MCQs, will give you more clarity on the subject. That's the most important.
So learning from the MCQ is the best thing.
Kindly close your screen, and we have 3 minutes left. So yeah.
And as you said earlier, that reading the guidance notes very important, and people are not interested in particularly reading those guidance. That's most important, which gives them more strong background for answering the questions.
Very good.
That is my feedback from my side. Thank you.
Yes. Fully agree, sir.
Mahesh, for sharing this information with us. Any other question any other participant is having? So if I actually turn this question around, that what we have seen at IIA, a lot of people get themselves enrolled for CIA, but somehow what statistics says that they are not progressing. even they are not going to for appearing in the exams, what should be the strategy of a trainer to
You are
ensure?
talking from the institute perspective. You mean there are many candidates who are enrolling but not taking the exam at all?
Absolutely. So what should be the trainer's strategy?
Engage with your candidate. The reason is, one person is highly motivated. First day, I want to crack the exam, and the easiest thing that can be done is spend some money, okay, buy some material, enroll for the exam. A feel good factor comes, okay, and after that, the hard part. It's just like enrolling for a gym subscription, right? Many people join the gym. Initially, 3 days they'll go. After that, oh, deep down. Okay, same thing happens here. So this is what engagement trainers, have to engage with their candidates and try and see that they are, motivated enough. See, people will have many times, if someone comes and tells Arey, why are you not giving the exam? Why are you not studying? And if you have a structured course, right, week on week, you have a structured course. This paper one, there are 7 study units. Each week will take one. So you have to encourage your candidates to be one step ahead of the class. I mean, that's very few candidates will do that. Suppose there is a lecture next week on topic, like say foundation of internal, some first chapter is there. If a candidate is one step ahead, he'll study and come, he'll read it and come. So that way, it's not about mastering that, but it is about being in the game, being in the game, and what should I say? Keeping your interest alive. Why people don't give? One is their interest is not alive. Second is this time bound planning. Somebody has to tell what is your date. When have you decided to give the exam? You have to go and give the exam. Then if you feel. The trainer has to drill it in their mind. Come what may, you have to go and give. You can excuse them if there's some other, but by and large, keep telling them once you have planned on a date, you have to go and give. Otherwise, there is no date. It will always keep going, procrastinating further and further.
In some cases, I have a question here. In some cases, students are asking whether we should be really going for study material of the institute, or can we go for some special classes from, outside. So, is it enough to study from the module itself from the institute?
Module, you mean to say the IIA exam preparation study material?
Yes.
They have, best of my knowledge, they have material is good. No doubt it is good. They have very less number of questions.
Yeah.
They may have increased, I don't know. And it is very costly. Okay? So if somebody can afford, okay. But budget is a thing. The first thing is, there's mandatory guidance notes and the recommended guidance notes. Guidance notes are a wealth of information. I will go to the extent to say ki, if you can crack that, if you can study that, make your own notes, it's done. Definitely you need some question bank to test yourself. But for studying, for knowing the knowledge, the standards available on the IIA website is good enough. Yes, Mahesh?
Yeah, I like to stress one point in this case. Whatever, even 5,000 questions you answer,
yes,
practice. You insist to the student that nothing will repeat in the exam. It will not be a repetition of one single question, which in my experience I have seen. Nothing will be repeated and everything will be new. So they have to apply the mind at the moment. So ensure that practice the mind to apply the studies, whatever they have done, the concepts to apply at the moment to get the answer correctly. That's a point you have to insist to the students. They will be expecting some questions may be repeated 10%, 5%. No such cases in IIA exams. So far as my experience goes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, any other question that we can take? Okay, then let me thank all of you for joining this course, this session. It was my first experience to talk to trainers, okay, and it has been very enriching experience for me as well. And I hope it had some takeaways for you. And thank you for your patient listening and being with. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you everyone for joining in. We will be in touch with you for the next steps. I hope you have enjoyed the session. It was a great indeed learning from me for me as well. While I was listening to this session very carefully. I'm not CIA so far, but this really makes it so interesting that I'm thinking to take up this
Yes.
qualification.
Please do that. On a different note, if just to add, on a different total thing,
Can you share
India should have
the phone
maximum
numbers, sir?
CIAs. Why shouldn't Modi ji will be happy? I don't want
Email
to
and
be
phone
politics,
numbers.
but we should have maximum CIAs. No, we are the one of the most capable lots here. So why not? Not that. Yes.
Can you please share your mobile number and email address?
Email address.
So that for future guidance, anything.
Okay.
For trainer's perspective, any.
Can I put it in the chat? I'll just put it in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. I'm not a trainer, still attending this to get a flavor of what should be the training trainer should do while doing. I'm planning also. So
Okay.
even though I passed CA, CAA, CISA a very long time, but now at the age of 60, something we have to do.
There is no age to learn and train.
So using our experience to train the students is a good option. So that's why I'm attending.
Sanaji, let us all, make a resolution that India should have the maximum number of CAs in the world.
Definitely, sir. With your help, I'm sure we'll be able to train more trainers.
Yes. Tell all your candidates, not that CIA is going to teach you something that you don't know. Many people know everything about internet. Then if you know, then why not validate it? Not for yourself, but in a different layer thing. Let us have a vision, just put those statistics. Which country is number one in CIAs, which is number, get those statistics, put it in your website. India is at which number? Let us be number one.
CA challenge exam, real opportunity, sir. All the students.
It will make a big difference, I tell you. If India is number one in number of CIAs, it will make a difference. It will help us get outsourcing engagements. These days, remote auditing is not a big thing. You can audit at least the desk work you can do. If we have maximum CIAs, why not? This industry can flourish.
Absolutely, sir. I agree with your thought. And even I'm expecting that all the participants who have not done their CIA so far, first of all, they should take up.
Yes.
That's the first step towards this journey. And we understand that with the introduction of the CIA challenge exam, we have actually seen a good traction in number of CIAs.
Yes, there is traction, Sanaji. There is a lot of traction, but there is fear and there is procrastination.
Absolutely. These two things are very, very much because people are really afraid that while they are holding a position
we have to tell
in their
ourselves, this is not
organization,
a
what will
validation.
happen if they did not clear? Yeah.
This exam doesn't speak about you. It just speaks about how you gave an exam. That's all.
Sir, to be frank, from my side, 1990 I passed the CA, and after that I exam passed in last year, April, first attempt, CA challenge exam, first attempt. So 33 years almost. I took it as a challenge and done the exam with good practice in questions and 3 times repeated study. Almost 6 months I studied. So that way we can pass it. It's not a big challenge.
No, nothing different. It is a very concise exam. The syllabus is
understand the concept, you can easily pass.
Easily pass, no problem.
Too much reading of the question also making confusion for the students. That's another issue I like to bring to your notice. Too much reading in the question. Simple, normal reading will give you clarity on the questions rather than Reading too much will give you doubtful thinking.
Yes, it will confuse too much analysis.
Yeah, too much confusion.
Yes.
That is another clue I have to give those persons who is taking exam.
Correct.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time.
All right, thanks everyone. Sanaji, I would like to see the statistics on the IIA India website. Let's
Yeah,
make
sure.
it as a point of motivation. Yeah? We need to be
Definitely.
gold medalist here. Number one. Yeah?
Definitely, sir. We'll take it up from the IA Global. How
But
many
Yes.
numbers are there?
in
And
this
we'll
forum, I like to add IAA challenge exam. Okay. Besides this, they have to go for CRMA, QAL leadership. So many things are there. IAA India, I request IAA India to take up something on these issues also.
Okay.
CRMA, what about QAL? At this age of 60, can I go for QAL? Possible? Or any
QIL is discontinued now.
Yeah. Discontinuing. What about
Yeah.
CRMA? CRMA, nobody is interested in doing that because once you pass CAA, you have to do CRMA. So there is no guidance on that. You have to depend on private studies or private books. So IAA India should.
Sandeep is already CRMA.
Yeah.
Who is a part
I
of
request
this,
IAA India
Yeah.
to do something on CRMA also.
Okay. We'll take it up internally and definitely be in touch with you. Thank you everyone for today's participation.
Also give opportunities to the trainers. Also give opportunities to the trainers also.
Absolutely, sir. That is why you are here.
Yeah.
We will take you to the next step. And we will communicate with all of you who joined today. Once again, thank you all for sparing the time.
Thank you.
And joining the session.
Thank you.
Special thanks to Deepak sir for taking up this session. And it is actually really very interesting.
Sanaji, and I wish the very best to the institute, to all the participants, to all the members of our profession. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.